Welcome to the Christian Life Coach Collective. I'm your host and coach, Laura Malone, and I'm here to help you become the hero of your own story and learn to be a guide to others. Whether you're a life coach in any niche or you want to become one, or you're just listening in so you can self-coach to lead your own life well, this podcast is here to serve you. I'm super excited to walk with you into your calling and help you create a wonderful legacy for your life. So let's jump in to today's episode. Hello, my friends. Let's talk about having a dream, an idea, a desire, something that you want to pursue, and feeling like you're all alone in it. I completely understand this experience. I am a supporter of all of the people in my world. I love supporting. I love resourcing. I love to equip and train and release. I love to give permission. I love to throw out possibilities. And I just love to help other people see their dreams and their callings, their passions rise up and be released in the world. But when it came to my own dream, I didn't necessarily have a me in my corner, right? I didn't have somebody who was going to stay right next to me and visionate with me and support and undergird me every step of the way. And I have to admit, there's been times and seasons where I would get a little bit, resentful of the feeling that I was so alone in this thing that I knew God had put in my heart. And I knew that other people who had dreams in their hearts had people come alongside them because I was one of the people who would come alongside other people. So I knew it was possible, and I know that I questioned God and said, where is mine? Where's the person who's going to come alongside me? And my husband is very happy to support me in my dream and my calling in the thing that I'm doing now. But we worked for the past 20 years side by side, building our nonprofit and working, building our family, moving, so much going on. But he still runs that nonprofit full time, and we do disaster relief, so he's coming and going a lot. He is not the person who's supposed to be in my corner whiteboarding with me. Now, he's willing to listen if I ask him to. He's willing to throw out ideas if I ask him to. But he does not do what I do for other people. That's not his gift and calling. He's doing what he was made to do, and I did help him get there. And then I think, well, okay, God, I loved doing that, but I have this other calling, this other passion in my heart, a dream to build Sterling and Stone, to become an amazing resource, an amazing group of people all headed in this direction of bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth the way we're each individually called to, and using coaching as a vessel to do that, as a vessel to be guides to other people, and to know how to lead ourselves well, to know how to show up in the world and impact and influence the spheres of people around us that God's put us in. I want to do that. I specifically want to support women who are called to do something that they are not doing yet. A lot of times we set aside what our passions are, what our pursuits are, because we end up getting married, having children, having to work a job that we don't necessarily feel led to called to, but it pays the bills. Like, life happens. But it doesn't mean that the thing that's inside of us isn't longing to come out, and that it doesn't mean that the thing we put on the shelf doesn't have a season, doesn't have a timing that is correct. And, for such a time as this, that dream is birthed, that dream comes off the shelf, that dream is supported, and I love helping people do that. I've been doing that for a long time in a lot of different realms, one of them being the coaching industry. And I want to talk to you if you feel like you have a dream, you have a business you want to build, a practice you want to build, you have an idea of something, you want to go after something, but you feel alone. There's what I would call a dream builder's hack. So no matter what you're dreaming of doing, there is one hack that I say you must absolutely pursue and start doing it today. I believe it's possible for every one of us, even if your brain tells you, no, that's not for me. That's not going to happen. I don't know how to make that happen. I believe that if you pray and ask the Lord to show you how to make this happen, and you actually take action, productive action, not passive action, and make it imperfect action, just step out there and try, I believe you can do this. And I believe that will help propel you into taking even more productive action. And I believe that it will help you actually be productive towards your dream building. And here's what it is. I call it having a dream ally. No matter what your dream is, you need someone to walk with you. And I do believe in having a group of people who are supporting you, but I want to talk about somebody who is very specifically meeting with you on a weekly basis, and it is a peer connection. So you offer something and they offer something. And if there's one thing that's gotten me through the years of feeling alone in my dream, if there's one thing that gave me hope on the days when I felt lonely, dissatisfied, and frustrated, it's my dream ally. And this is the person I can call and rant to anytime when I have vision for something, a fresh idea, or a complaint, a hurt, a need, somebody who's going to listen, pray, and put her head up next to mine to help me figure it all out. She tells me I can do this thing, but she also shares her dreams and her pursuits, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We are cohorts, and we have a buddy system. She's one of my favorite people after 13 years, and she is my dream ally. And we have different goals, but we have similar growing pains and similar challenges and needs, and that's part of the reason why it's important to have a dream ally, is that somebody else is pursuing something that they want in their life, so they understand your desire to pursue your dream. And even if the dream is different, and I actually recommend that it is somehow different, there's got to be a difference between the two. You're not going to compete. This is not supposed to turn into a competition. This is supposed to be someone who's going to champion you. And it's really good to have somebody that is similar in what you're doing, what you're pursuing, because you want somebody who has a little bit of understanding about the language that you speak in pursuit of your dream. This helps to prevent isolation. It helps prevent hopelessness and loneliness. And it's just a two-way peer commitment. It's different. It's like a peer guidance and a connection instead of paid guidance through coaching or oversight like a boss. And you set a time frame for this season. So you would invite somebody to come do this with you and say, let's try this out every week for 3 months, or for the duration of this project I'm on, you're on, etc. So I'm going to give you some practical, tactical tips about how to make this happen. And you are just going to go find that person who can be your peer support system, a co-worker, that you're a co-dreamer, a co-creator, and you're both pursuing a dream. And however that dream manifests, whatever it looks like, you're both pursuing something and needing mutual support. So, number one, I would say, when you find this person, make a plan to meet once a week, either live or online, or you're going to call each other, and you actually commit to a time frame for the meeting, and you prioritize it on your calendar. You make decisions together about what your time together is going to look like. And in order to be a good dream ally, you need to be punctual and consistent. You need to be showing up for each other. So you can just agree to focus on what is urgent or critical. If there isn't anything urgent or critical, there's no problem that you need to voice and work through, then you can focus on like the actual tasks, like being held accountable to something, or just being able to walk through what is in front of you and be able to get that out of your head and throw it out there. This is a great time for you to get everything out of your head. Then you can trade off who's sharing or who's getting the focus. You could even just simply set a timer so that you both get a focused 30 minutes each, something like that. And be there for them when it's inconvenient, because that's what an ally does, right? Even if they call you and you say, I need to talk right now, and you go, well, I'm in the middle of, cooking dinner. What can you do to connect for them and be there for them? Because one day you're going to call while it's inconvenient for them, and you're going to need somebody to hear you out. So show up for one another in a mutual, respectful way. All right. If you don't have what your buddy needs, maybe you hear your ally say, I really need a good lawyer to help me with this part of the business setup. Well, you're not a lawyer, fine. But do you know somebody who you trust that you could refer them to and connect them to? How can you help by resourcing them or connecting them? And maybe there's even something you could actually execute, something you know how to do, you could do for them. That doesn't mean taking on this massive task and really doing all the things that they need to be doing. It just means that maybe there's one or two things that you can help jumpstart them on. Maybe it's a link you send them, a book that you share with them, something like that. There's ways that you can support each other by obviously being an active listener, but maybe there's actually something every now and then that you can do for one another. And plan rewards and celebrations together. Trust me, this is like at the end of 3 months, you and I are both going to get a pedicure. At the end of this project, we're going out to dinner. Whatever it is, plan a reward for the accomplishment of the season that you've committed to, and celebrate. Share your wins with one another, right? You want somebody who can whiteboard and brainstorm with you. So you get together and, on a Zoom, there's a whiteboard element to it. So you can actually whiteboard while you're on the computer, or you go buy yourself a whiteboard if you're meeting together face to face. And you also agree to confidentiality. You need to set the terms of what you're sharing, who it can be shared with, if other people are going to know that you work together, that you're dream allies, if it's okay that they share with their spouse or their friends what you're doing, and when it's not okay to share something. That's really important to agree ahead of time on. And you also agree to be called out if one of you just starts going downhill, not holding up your end of the commitment, or gets whiny, gets unteachable, just wants to give up. You need to agree that the other person is specifically there to help reassure you that you can keep going, or remind you that we're not here to whine on this phone call. We're here to get stuff done. So let's put aside the complaining and the negativity and do something else with our time, right? You also agree to pick up the phone when you need something and call them, and you agree to answer when the other one calls. So why would you have an ally and not believe that it's okay to reach out to them? And why would you not take advantage of the relationship and the commitment you've made to one another? Agree to no competition. And if you want to have some friendly competition, who's going to get this first, whoever does that takes the other one out to dinner, whatever. But the competition, that's not fun. Don't choose an ally that's going to compete against you and put undue pressure on you. You're going to feel enough personal pressure to do everything that you need to do. You don't need somebody pushing on you or, creating ultimatums or threats to that's going to impact how you really show up in the relationship and in the peer accountability. That's not necessary. So agree that you're not going to be competing against one another for anything. You don't have to be going after the same thing. You just need to both have pursuit in your heart towards something. And they don't both have to be business. It could be one of you is pursuing to build a business and one of you might just be pursuing growth in a certain area or how to really show up with your family, right? You're just both pursuing something, a dream that's in your heart, and that's what you're agreeing to be there for one another for. You might also have more than one dream ally. So I have my one specific dream ally who's always there and answers the phone all the time, but I also have a couple of groups that I connect with more every month or so, bi-weekly, and we have more specific pursuits, and we're more like directed in certain ways, such as like podcasting and course creation, as opposed to my overall life dream, business, etc. So you can also consider having a co-working session online or together as well. So you can do, we meet every Monday at 10 o'clock, and for an hour, we both really press into this one thing in front of us that, we've said we need to get done. And that means you're actually going to commit to that co-working time. So the thing that you don't want to do, it might be good to set that as the task at hand, or maybe you need to get some content created and you need to put down at least 300 to 500 words today. Well, that hour is specifically set aside to get that done. And there's somebody on the other side saying, hey, this is not the time to clean the toilet and procrastinate. You need to, we're both here. We're not talking to one another, but we're both on the computer, and I can see whether you're focused or not. And you can tell me if I seem to be getting distracted. Now, you have to give some parameters about that. Get on the phone or online and say, for 5 minutes we chat, but now we're setting the timer. We can have a call any other time of the week. But 10 o'clock on Monday, that's when we have our co-working session. That means we need to be actually working. Now, that's a lot of ideas of what you can do while you have a dream ally, but what about who this person is? And what if you're not sure where to start in finding that person if you don't know somebody? So you could take a course or a training or a class that might offer an accountability group, or find somebody who's doing something similar to you. You could ask around in Facebook groups that are kind of like directed and going the same direction. Somebody else might need a dream ally also. See if you have any friends who are pursuing anything and want to set up a time to talk out, like both of you need a listening ear and some support for. But definitely be prayerful about it and choose wisely. Ask God to show you who this person might be. Maybe you already know them. Maybe you haven't met them yet, but it's such an important relationship that I definitely suggest you submit it to the Lord. And they need to be somebody you respect for their insight and their integrity, who cares enough for you that they're willing to show up and actually make this a mutual relationship. If it's all about them, that's not going to work out. You either have to set really clear boundaries with somebody who is more self-focused and teach them how to be others focused, you focused, or you just have to pick somebody else who has that naturally. And it has to be somebody who cares about you and what you're pursuing, who's willing to listen actively, ask thoughtful questions, pull things out of you, not to boss you around or tell you what to do, but somebody who allows you to be vulnerable, authentic, and honest with them without you fearing repercussions or hurtful criticism or negativity, things like that. So yeah, I also think considering what kinds of strengths you could use speaking into your life, your dream, your business, etc. Like, do you know anybody who has a skill or a gifting that might be helpful to you in this season or on this project you're pursuing, whatever it is? Like, who do you know that, might actually be able to help you execute it or has done it before? And then is there something you could offer them in exchange if you were to have, weekly sessions and co-working sessions, weekly phone calls where you're just saying, hey, I'm pursuing this, you're pursuing that. I would love to pour into you what I know about what you're doing, and I would love to extract from you what you have inside of you, your experience, your skills. How can we mutually benefit one another in this relationship? All right, friend. So that is wrapping it up. I believe that this is a huge Dream Builders hack. If you don't have somebody who you feel like is in your corner, then you will struggle when you feel that this passion is burning inside your heart, when you're desperate to talk about something that you can't wait to do or you are doing, and you love this, but you don't have anybody to share it with. Go find yourself a dream ally. And I pray that each one of you will experience God's direction and leading to the right person. So until next time, remember, all things are possible for those who love God. And I believe that you and I together can help each other figure out how all of those things are possible for each one of us. Have a great week. Hey, thanks for listening. And I would love it if you could leave me a review wherever you listen to this podcast and tell me what you're loving about it. It helps other people who are looking for transformation and change and growth in their lives find me. And if you want to learn about becoming a coach with any of your superpowers, head over to sterlingandstonementoring.com and check out the Greenhouse course. See you there.